Yeah, look, it was a very tragic story. Trayvon Martin, 17-year-old kid in high school. He'd had been in and out of some trouble. I guess this neighborhood had a lot of crime. George Zimmerman saw him kind of hanging around, and he thought he better report it, as he was told to do. If people remember the case, it's 5-year anniversary of that tragic story. And yeah, apparently Trayvon Martin had been in some trouble. And when I look at his history, it's very tragic and very similar to a lot of black youth. Welcome back to the Alex Jones Show. Joel Gilbert with you for the last segment, right from the left coast, from the People's Republic of California. I am taking calls the rest of the way, 877-789-ALEX. I mentioned that next Monday there's going to be a special by Jay-Z called Rest in Power about Trayvon Martin. And I talked about how suspect it was. Again, they're trying to bring this up before an election to try to agitate, to try to inflame emotions, especially of African Americans, to try to vote Democrat. That's the game that we see again and again. But let's take a call from John in Seattle. Go ahead, John, you're on Alex Jones Show.
Hi, Joel. Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to mention that you didn't mention, but the night of the Trayvon's death, he was peeking through windows, and there was a bunch of robberies in that complex, and that was never really highlighted, but it was a fact, and it was very suspicious. Also wanted to mention that my buddy was the news reporter who misreported on that, Jeff Burnside, and he got fired because of it. And you know, he was kind of a sacrificial lamb, it seems. And I just wanted to just pass that along.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, look, it was a very tragic story. Trayvon Martin, 17-year-old kid in high school. He'd had been in and out of some trouble. I guess this neighborhood had a lot of crime. George Zimmerman saw him kind of hanging around, and he thought he better report it, as he was told to do. If people remember the case, it's 5-year anniversary of that tragic story. And yeah, apparently Trayvon Martin had been in some trouble. And when I look at his history, it's very tragic and very similar to a lot of black youth, that there's no employment. I think he'd been in and out of drug issues, suspended from school. His parents were divorced. Very typical of what the Democrat Party has brought to the black community for 50 years. They've been in control of these progressive cities for 50, 60 years. Violent culture, drug culture, single women, broken homes. It was just very tragic. You just got to wonder that if Trayvon Martin had any opportunities. What if Donald Trump was president and not Obama? During Obama, there were no jobs. They were trying to, bring in illegals, knock down the borders, to bring them into these urban communities, to take jobs from black people, to drive down the wages. I wonder if Donald Trump was president, Trayvon Martin would have had some opportunity. Right now, there's more jobs than there are people to fill them. It was the opposite back in 2012, after 4 years of Obama. So you just wonder, Trayvon Martin is probably someone who would rather have a job. But when I did my movie, There's No Place Like Utopia, I went to Southside Chicago. Everybody there talked to a lot of black people on welfare, and they didn't want to be on welfare. They wanted a job, but there was no opportunity. So think about that when you watch it. I would tune in to the BET or Paramount Network on Monday for that Jay-Z documentary. Definitely watch it and see what kind of political agenda there is, or if they really do tell the true story. Let's go to another caller, Adam in Florida.
Hey, Joel, can you hear me?
Yes, sir, go ahead.
Hey, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I watched some of your films, particularly Dreams from My Real Father.
Okay, thanks.
Enjoyed it very much. And I wanted to give kind of credit to Obama where it's due, because, he's the only president I can remember that ever let me see naked pictures of his mother. And
well, there are. Go ahead.
I wanted to ask you in particular, though, where did you get the original seed for that movie? Like, how did you get the idea that he might be?
Okay. Well, thanks for asking. Back in 2012, I was following InfoWars, WorldNet Daily, and I kept reading about the birth certificate. Everybody said, where's the birth certificate? Where's the birth certificate? And there was no answer. And I always knew that if you if you don't know the answer to the question, it means you're not asking the right question. They're not asking the right question. So I read Obama's autobiography, Dreams from My Father, and throughout the entire book, he talks about Frank Marshall Davis. Frank is his go-to guy. This guy raised him. And so I went and found a book by Frank Marshall Davis called Livin' the Blues. And you open the book, and there's 20 pictures of Frank Marshall Davis. He's the spitting image of Barack Obama. He looks exactly like him. And the Kenyan looks nothing like Obama. So I realized at that moment, I said, look, where's the birth certificate is not the question. The question is, who's the real father? If you answer that question, you get in Obama's entire political agenda. Obama was radicalized by Frank Marshall Davis, a Soviet agent, a Russian spy who attempted to help overthrow the United States government during the Cold War. This is the guy that raised Barack Obama. Now you understand the whole agenda. So that's how I got into it. It was just by following my interest. So thanks a lot for asking, and be sure to get that film in the InfoWars store. Let's go to John in Arizona. John in Arizona, you're on Alex Jones Show. Are you with us, John?
Hello?
Okay.
Hello?
Are you there?
Yeah, hello?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, John. Okay, I think we lost him. We're going to have to move on. Let's go to Dan in Texas. Dan in Texas, go ahead. You're on the Alex Jones Show.
Thank you, sir. I have a question. We're tough. We were tough with North Korea, but we're not really tough on Mexico. That the communist president that just got elected is telling everybody he's got both borders open, come to America to have a new life. You know, that could be considered an act of war, and maybe they build their own fence if they know that we're not going to deal with it. And if they don't deal with it, maybe we can just go in there and clean that place out. The drugs and, you know, I would call them missiles coming here full of disease and crap. I mean, what do you think about that?
Well, look, the issue with the Mexican border has simply been political will and the lack of enough Republicans or anyone to want to go ahead and secure the border. There's a number of reasons why Democrats don't want to secure the border. They need voters. They can't fool the regular people, can't fool all the people all the time. A lot of black people are getting more successful. The economy's helping. They move out of the inner cities. They want to replace them with these illegals and with voters from South America. Democrats have their agenda. Republicans, of course, the Department of, Chamber of Commerce have liked the immigrants, illegal immigrants driving down wages, also detrimental to minorities. So you've had these strong interests that have been pushing against securing the border. So the political will of Donald Trump that ran his campaign on, build that wall, and being elected to do so is battling it now, having a battle with the old interests that don't want to secure the border. So it could be done in a few weeks, in a month, in 2 months, if he can garner the support. So I think it's going to be up to the midterms. If Republicans are very successful in the midterms, I think it's going to happen. If they're not successful in the midterms, I think we're looking at a screeching halt to much of the Trump agenda that people voted for. Let's go to Liberty Smith in Oklahoma. You're on the Alex Jones Show.
Hey, Joel. How are you?
Excellent. Thanks for being here.
Good. I just wanted to touch base on the Soros thing that you were talking about a little bit earlier. And my question is simply, he's been doing all these things, even in the United States. Why hasn't anybody picked up on prosecuting him? That's my question.
The short answer, the short answer is money. I mean, he gives hundreds of millions to all these leftist organizations, the Tides Foundation. Every time there's some crazy leftist idea, you start Googling it on the web and you find out it's getting money from some other Soros front group. So the amount of money that he throws around into the legal system, into, foundations, it's just incredible how much money he's able to put in people's pockets to control the agenda. Look at Hillary Clinton. How many crimes over the years? She has a rap sheet, 10 feet long, but she's connected to that network. So the amount of money coming in through the Soros gang is much more significant than Republicans giving money to some PAC, that they complain about, Citizens United. The big deal is these social justice organizations. And even if one of them gets shut down, they just slither over to another one. They're very formidable in Washington, in the legal circles. They're formidable in every state. And it's the amount of money he's able to put in. And I think it's very interesting to really look at his early history. How did he get out of Nazi Europe being a Nazi spy? And why did the Russians let him go? And how did he become so rich so quickly? I think the answer is pretty obvious, especially when you look what he's done and whose interests he's been serving for so many years. Thanks for being here today. That's the last call on the Alex Jones Show. I'm Joel Gilbert from the People's Republic of California. I'll see you next week or in 2 weeks. Everybody, God bless America. Keep tuning in to the Alex Jones Show.
Extendowise, the latest product from InfoWarsLife.com, fuses all the known compounds that have been proven to be good for our hearts and cardiovascular system. And listen, everybody's got a heart. Well, actually, maybe Hillary and George Soros don't, but everybody else has a heart, and this product is amazing. So, if you have a heart and you want the very best product out there that's designed to aid a healthy heart and cardiovascular system, it's Extendowise, available at InfoWarsLife.com. And like all of our products are game changers, this baby is the most souped up, awesome version the top formulators could come up with and still be affordable. It's one of the very best heart pills out there. It's Extendowise. So get some for yourself and family and friends. It's got the very best fish oil from the fjords. It's very, very pure, very, very clean, and has the EPA type that is specifically good for the heart, cardiovascular system. It's got the properly formulated type of CoQ10 and more. It is Extendowise, now available at InfoWarsLife.com.